Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Third Installment of Scott's Selections here for Wednesday, November 11th. Before we get into today's play today, a quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a loss with the Ohio Bobcats team total over 41.5, which was available on BetMGM at minus 118. The line ended up climbing up from 41.5 to 43. Ohio's spread even climbed. Unfortunately, did not matter. They also had some over money as Ohio's offense just got completely shut down by Akron. They couldn't throw the ball. They couldn't move the ball. And they ended up going under by about 20 points or so for the team total. A little bit less than that, but you get the point. Really wasn't close. Pretty unfortunate. Ohio scored on the first drive of the game roughly 3 minutes in. It looked like they were going to coast, and then they hit a wall, and they just couldn't score for a decent portion of the game. So, unfortunately, picked up a loss there. Now, for today's play that I know there was a decent amount of action in the MAC. However, I did not like any of the games on today's card, so we're going to be doing something a little bit differently, something that we have not done, at least that I haven't broken down in months with the joint shows with Scott Steen and even David Hess every now and then. We're going to be breaking down some golf. And I know that the Masters is coming up on Thursday, so I figured I could give out some props, talk about what I like in the upcoming, of course, major, and we could try to find some value together. So without further ado, I'm going to be talking about a couple of plays that I have here. It's not just going to be one play, it's going to be a couple, so sprinkle them accordingly. Golf is something that I've been following on the side, and not I'd say as much as some of the other sports, but of course it's the Masters. I have been paying attention in the last couple of weeks leading up to it, so I have some props that I do like based on value. Mostly when value hunting, comparing lines in different books, trying to find some really good steals, and I believe I found a couple. So we're going to dive in with the first prop here, and it's going to be on Brandon Todd to miss the cut. It's available at plus 145 on Bet Online. Now, first of all, there was a huge discrepancy here in terms of price. Brandon Todd on FanDuel and DraftKings, for example, is plus 110 or plus 108 to miss the cut. BetOnline has plus 145. So you're picking up roughly 35 cents a juice, give or take, of value, I should say, on that prop. And for that reason, I'm going to be giving it out. Now, Brandon Todd has been in the Masters once in his career. Back in 2015, he missed the cut. Of course, he has been a lot better. He just has, honed in on his skills a little bit more. But unfortunately, he has been struggling a lot lately. As since his 23rd place finish in the U.S. Open, he ended up finishing 52nd at Shadow Creek, finished 47th in the Zozo Championship. Then he missed the cut in his last tournament at the Bermuda Championship. So he's not been performing well. Now, the weather is supposed to be awful for the first couple of days in the Masters. A lot of rain, a lot of humidity, decent amount of wind. And Todd has always struggled off the tee, which is a serious issue that he's going to have. Todd's strength is his putting, which, don't get me wrong, is going to be very important in order to win the event. But when you're losing strokes pretty much every time you step foot to the tee, that's definitely not going to do you any favors. Plus, his wedge game, his iron game, everything like that has definitely taken a step backwards over the last couple of outings, because he had something going there for a little while, but it seems like he's hit a bit of a cold spell with his irons, and off the tee, he's always going to be losing strokes. So overall, I think that he should definitely struggle in this course. I think that there's a good chance he misses the cut. I think that plus 110 or plus 108 sounds right. I think it's borderline pick'em on him to miss the cut. I'm getting plus 145. I got to take that for value. So the first play is going to be on Brandon Todd to miss the cut at plus 145 on Bet Online. Now the second play is going to be on a veteran, somebody who a lot of us know, and it's going to be on him to miss the cut as well. It's going to be on Phil Mickelson. Now, Phil Mickelson to miss the cut is plus 145 on Bet Online. If you look at other books, you have DraftKings, for example, which prices Mickelson to miss the cut at plus 138. FanDuel even has it lower in the low plus 130s. But based on Mickelson's recent performances, I have to take the missed cut here at plus 145. If you look at his results, Mickelson has missed the cut in 3 of his last 5 events. And it is worth mentioning that one of the events that he did not miss the cut in was the Zozo Championship, in which he finished second to last. And the only reason why he didn't miss the cut is because the Zozo Championship does not have a cut. So if there was a cut in the Zozo, he would have missed the cut in 4 of his last 5 events. He's been playing terribly. I know he dabbled a little bit on the senior tour, won a championship there. But at the age of 50, he simply just can't compete with the younger guys. And if you look at his recent performances, he has been lost all over the course. He seems to hit drives wayward out of bounds. His iron game, everything like that, isn't as sharp as it used to be. And his putting is still pretty good, but definitely an adventure at times. So overall, Mickelson at plus 145, I feel like it's just based solely on reputation. If you look at recent performances where he has finished either missing the cut or second to last in 4 of his last 5 tournaments. Plus 145 is a joke. I think that you make the argument once again, kind of like Todd, it should be a pick 'em, potentially even juice to missing the cut. But based on the name alone, of course, he's a plus 145. I got to take the missed cut there, and I think that's way too much value to pass up. So the second play is going to be on Mickelson to miss the cut at plus 145 on BetOnline. Now, the third one is going to be a prop that a lot of people are going to hate me on because, once again, I'll be fading a veteran. And, of course, it is the greatest golfer of all time in Tiger Woods. Now, the last time I took Tiger to miss a cut, it was one of the worst beats of my career. I believe he birdied the last 2 holes, and then the cut moved with about 5 golfers left on the back 9. And it ended up moving, and Woods ended up making the cut by the bare minimum. So it was an all-time bad beat for me in golf. But if you look at his recent results, Tiger has definitely not been performing well. In addition to the very infrequent appearances that he's been making, which always is a red flag, he ended up finishing 72nd in the Zozo, which is in the bottom 10. There are only 77 people in it. He finished 72nd. Before that, he was in the U.S. Open in September. He ended up missing the cut there. Moving back to 2020, he was okay in the matchups before. He finished 51st at the BMW, finished 58th in the Northern Trust, but as a whole, just not very good. The BMW Championship, by the way, he did finish 11 over, so he was awful on that. Although 51 sounds pretty decent, if you actually keep in mind how many people were in the event, he definitely did not perform well, as there were 69 people there. Mark Leishman finished plus 30, so that's definitely not something to write home about. But Tiger finished plus 11, definitely not ideal for his recent performances. So if you look at his results, he finished plus 11, the BMW. He missed the cut at the U.S. Open, and he also finished in 72nd at the Zozo. So he's been awful lately, and there is a massive steal available if you shop around. Tiger to miss the cut is roughly around plus 200. You can find plus 210 also. But if you shop on FanDuel, you can find Tiger to miss the cut at plus 250. So you're getting roughly 40 cents of value, 50 cents of value, depending on what other lines you have. Tiger just has not been good. I know that he ended up winning the Masters in 2019. I get that. I know that it's, of course, sacrilegious to fade Tiger in any event because it involves rooting against Tiger. But based on recent form, plus 250 is an absolute joke to miss the cut. So I got to take that for value. And the last prop before we get into one outright is going to be on a very, very obscure prop, which doesn't really have much of a chance to win, but there is a lot of value if you shop around. It's going to be on a hole-in-one to happen in the first round. Now, a hole-in-one in the whole tournament is roughly minus 175. I know FanDuel had minus 230 or so. But hole-in-one for round 1 is roughly plus 400. You can occasionally find a plus 500 or so on FanDuel. BetOnline has that prop at 8-1. So I'm picking up at roughly $3 of value alone on BetOnline. So for that reason, I'm going to take it. I know the weather's not going to be great, but you do have 4 par 3s in each round. Round 1, you just need one guy to get lucky, and I definitely think that since a hole-in-one has happened in each of the last 4 Masters, plus 800, definitely worth a sniff there, as you can get 4-1 or even 5-1 at other spots, but 8-1 is definitely where I want to put my money. So once again, the 4 props that we have here is going to be Tiger to miss the cut at plus 250 on FanDuel, Mickelson to miss the cut at plus 145 on BetOnline, Brandon Todd to miss the cut at plus 145 on BetOnline, and a hole-in-one in round 1 at 8-1 on BetOnline. And we're going to be giving out one outright here for a little bit of a sprinkle, mostly based on recent performance, is going to be on Jon Rahm. We're going to take him to win the whole thing at plus 1050 on DraftKings. Most available at plus 1,000, but DraftKings does have 1050, so that is why we're going to be taking it there. Now, Rahm has emerged, of course, as being a phenomenal golfer several years ago, but if you look at his recent performances, he has been very good. U.S. Open, he finished 23rd. Shadow Creek finished 17th. The Zozo, he finished 2nd in his last tournament leading up to the Masters. Now, if you also want to look at his performances before that, he also won a couple of tournaments, so he has definitely found his way to the winner's circle. He had some issues closing out tournaments in the past, but it appears he is over that as he was able to win the BMW Championship. He won that one. He also won the Memorial earlier this past year, finished 4th in the Tour Championship, 6th in the Northern Trust, 13th in the PGA Championship. He's just been hovering around the top 10 for the last couple of months, and I do think that after a pretty solid run in the Masters last year, I think that he definitely has a great chance to win the event. He looks like he's one of the most dialed-in golfers on tour right now, and I think at $10.50. I think that's a pretty solid price there. So the outright we're going to be doing a little bit of a sprinkle is going to be on John Rahm to win the Masters. So other than that, though, that's been the installment of Scott Selections here for Wednesday, November 11th. If you have any thoughts on some props you like for the Masters, comment down below. If you want to roast me on my props, you can do so also. But I hope all of you enjoyed the video, and good luck to all of you and your expected bets today. Bye, everyone.